Guys, we are here with Marley this morning. We are at Home Depot. So Marley and I are finally starting to get out into public together now that she understands pressure and release. Let me get out of the street. Come on, Marley. Now that she's understanding pressure and release on the slip lead, Marley. And we have built up a nice working relationship and a bond together that she can trust me to be her handler and to guide her through situations that she's really nervous in. So we just got out of the car. We are right there. We haven't gotten anywhere. So I wanted to show you right off the bat how you're going to do this, because this is our first time out in public. And as soon as I opened the truck and she jumped out the back, she was nervous from the get-go. So before I really went anywhere, I'm just going to work on just letting her sit here in a calm state of mind with no pressure on her leash, and just kind of let her observe. So every time she gets up from this, I did give her a hot dog. I think she ate about half of it and then spit it out. So not so nervous that she won't even take a treat, but still cautious. So we have, people coming up. She's a little bit more cautious. So right there, I just used a little bit of pressure to remind her that she just needs to stay in this calm state of mind. You can see she is nervous. Her stance is really tense. She's panting. You can see she's breathing heavy. So I really just want to show her that this isn't anything scary and we can just be calm. If she doesn't feel comfortable enough going into the store yet today, that is fine with me. I am not going to pressure her to go in, but we're going to see how we do as we go. So what I really want to show you is as soon as we start taking off, she wants to pull ahead. So I probably won't even get to this line right there before I need to stop again, because she's going to try and pull ahead. Now, it's super, super important to set the tone for your walk right from the get-go. Marley. Letting her know that as soon as she tries to take the lead, nope, you have to take it right back from her and show her she's not allowed to do that. She has to understand that you guys are the ones that are in control of the situation, and she needs to trust your guidance. If she is pulling ahead, she is taking control of the situation and doing what she is used to doing, which is running away from the situation. She is not a fight dog. Honestly, I do not see any issues with her snapping at anybody or anything like that. She's going to run away from the situation and bark at it and make herself seem as tough as she can. But I have seen zero inklings that she would bite anybody, so I don't think you have to be super worried about that. So right away, right there, you can see she's trying to pull ahead. I'm not going to let her do that. In fact, I'm going to back up. Marley, good girl, Marley. And I'm going to start walking the other way. Now when I turn this way, I'm going to do lots of turns. So right there, right? She's in the lead. She's not following me anywhere, right? If I turn, then she's behind me. But now she's still not following. Learning how to release tension when your dog wants to pull is super important. So right now, she could be pulling me, or she could not be pulling me, right? Just by doing that one little tug and release, by telling her, no, I don't want you to do that. And look, pressure goes away right away if you do what I need you to do. What most people do is they keep this solid tension on and they walk and they're like, she's pulling me, I don't know what to do. Sure, look, she could pull me if she wanted to, right? But if I pop her, stand my point, pop her, and then we start going the other way. So right there, as soon as she took the lead, I'm going to do something to take it back, which is going to be changing directions. Change directions. All right, I gave her a pop there. She's too focused on the other people. So we're going to do this for the next few minutes until she starts to understand that she's got to stay with me and she's got to focus on me. Clearly right now she is just all over the place, right? She is not calm, cool, or collected in any kind of way. And her leash has also slipped. I want it a little bit higher up. So we're going to practice on that. I'm going to try and find a spot to set my phone up, and we'll do a little bit of a time lapse for you so that you can see exactly what I do with her as far as going into the store beforehand and stuff. So I will do my best to get that for you. right, so now that we got some time-lapse footage to kind of show you how I go about walking around the parking lot before I take my dogs into any kind of store, especially the first few times that we go. So as you can see, we have made it up to the entrance. I do think we're going to be able to go inside. She's doing well. She has not barked at anybody. She's not pulling me towards anybody. She's really doing fine. She's calming down now. She's eating treats happily. People are passing by us and she's doing just fine. She even gave a nice little yawn right there, which is a good release of mental energy that she's showing us that she has been thinking, and that is tiring her out, which is what we want. So you want to get your dog relaxed and almost exhausted before you bring them into a high stressful situation. It's going to be a lot easier to manage a dog that is in that state of mind than it is when we first got here about maybe 15-20 minutes ago. So now all we're really doing is just kind of hanging out in front of the store where there's a lot of carts, a lot of people going in and out, cars going by, all sorts of kind of, noises and everything for her to kind of just sit back and, think about and just soak it all in before we head into the store. That's great. Good job, Marley. Just thought about it a little bit, so right there she broke. I'm just going to get her back into that calm state of mind. Marley. By using her pressure and release. As you can see, she loves her some hot dogs. She is more than happy. When we first got here, like I said, she was a little bit nervous and actually spit them out. Now she is happily taking them, and Mom, they're watching me. She's got a big old smile on. She's doing really good. I'm proud of her. So now when we go in the store, you're going to notice I'm going to do a lot of stopping. She is still in the mind frame that she thinks she can control situations. But once she gives into it and starts following your lead, you see such an instant change in her and how she's relaxed and everything. You can just see in her, even just how she's standing and everything right now. She's still panting, but we've also been walking around a lot. And this is still stressful for her, but way, way less, because I have showed her probably about 50 to 100 times now with every turn, no, follow me, no, follow me, no, follow me, no, follow me. I never let her take the lead. I never, ever let her pull. I never let there be pressure on this slip lead unless I am specifically communicating to her, calm down or pay attention. That's it. Any other time, this slip lead has to be completely loose. Right, so we're going to start walking into the store. So even right there, if I start moving here and she's there and I say heel, she's going to take off as soon as I say heel, and she's going to be in the lead already. So before I even go anywhere, so you can see she thought about moving. So before she even got up, I reminded her, So now as a trainer, I can read dogs' body language very well, and I could tell right there when she was about to move. See, she moved. So I let her know, no, just because I move doesn't mean that you just instantly get to get up, right? That is showing her that you're in control, right? Showing her that you have to stay here until I say the magic word, which is heel. Then you get to move. Now, as soon as she gets in front of me, what am I going to do? So this is also another good thing to show you. This is why it's going to slip on her so much. Look, when I try and pull when she gets ahead, if you pull back, it's going to naturally slide down. Now, dogs do not have pressure points in their throat. They have them in their skull. So it's right at the base of her ears that you want this to be sitting. So when it slips down to her throat like that, that's because she was probably doing a lot of pulling and it pulled. So when you use your slip lead, you want it, she's got a lot of hair, so you just got to maneuver it. You want it nice and high up, as high as you can get it. And then you want to do upward pulls, okay? So when you do up, notice it's not going to slide back. If I pull this way, it's going to slide down her. So learning how to hold your leash with no tension, but keeping it straight so that when you're practicing this, that's what's going to help you to have to adjust it less. But in the beginning, when you're practicing this, just be aware you're going to adjust. There's going to be an adjustment period with the slip lead, with you guys working together, with her starting to now understand that you guys are in control of the situation, which wasn't the case before. She has a rapport with you guys on what you guys normally do. So now you're going to have to change what you were normally doing before to really reinforce to her that this is what I need you to do from now on, because I'm trying to help you. So right there, right, she tried to pull ahead. Now the quicker you stop, good girl, honey. Now the pressure and release, you're going to see how much quicker it works when her leash is positioned properly, because this works with putting pressure on their pressure points. If you put it on her throat and her trachea, all you're going to do is get that sound where everyone's always worried, isn't this going to choke them? No, first of all, this is not going to choke them, because number one, the whole point is pressure and release. The release is the hardest thing, I think, for people. They don't quite understand that when pressure goes on, pressure has to go away. If you're saying, don't do that, yay, you stopped doing that, or pay attention. But it's a quick on and off, right? You can never have solid tension. Solid tension means calm down, stop moving. That's it. And you can't ever let her pull forward with even the slightest bit of tension. So this needs to be resting on the tips of your fingers. You don't want to have a closed fist, because then this has nowhere to go. If you have it resting, see how it just goes, slides in and out of my hand. If I have a closed fist, all that happens is I maneuver it like a puppet. We don't want that, right? We want this to just be a tether. This is just there as, an extension of my arm. Let's see, we had carts pass right by us. Doing great. Okay, yeah. So I also start off walking very slow. If you take off with this brisk pace, she's going to start that way too. And she's not used to falling behind just yet. So if you teach her, look how slow I go. You're going to notice the second she gets ahead of you, it's going to be a lot easier. So I'm going to turn the other way because she's getting too excited. We're right at the door. So I did a couple little pops to her, right? So those pops are telling her, no, pay attention, pay attention. Pay attention. So now if I have to do more than like 2 or 3 of those, then we're going to go to a full-on, okay, then you need to calm down. If I've said pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, okay, then calm down. Right? So we need to get her into a calmer state of mind. There's that yawn again that I was talking about. We got all sorts of stuff going on, so this is a lot for her, and again, she's doing great. So just making these really heel. Okay, Marley. Yeah. So right there, you're going to notice how fast she gets ahead of you, and that's going to allow you to practice takeoffs a lot better, to show her, nope, you don't get to just fly ahead of me, right? You see it so much quicker. Now if we go off and we go like this, see how far ahead she got before I even got to stop her? The quicker you can stop her, the better. You don't want her to get all the way up here sometimes, and here sometimes, here sometimes, here sometimes. That's a really inconsistent box, right? So when we're doing this little red invisible box, she has to know, think of it like an invisible fence. If your dog didn't know where the fence line was, they would know how the invisible fence works. So this is up to you to be the one to reinforce to them that, no, this is where the fence is, basically. But you're the one that's communicating that to them. So consistency is key. Marley. Consistency is key. You have to make sure that she's in the same spot every time. So right there, I didn't apply pressure because I'm going to do this. Marley, good girl. I ain't going to get her attention. Marley. Marley. Smoothing this. We're not doing heel. Marley. And she hears some loud trucks right there. She sure is a shaggy doodle, huh? Sit. Marley, sit. Good girl.
What a beautiful face.
She's in training right now.
You have a pretty face. How are you?
Good girl,
She
Marley.
How old are you?
Just a few years. I'm blanking on her age at the moment. Yeah. I'm training her. Good girl, Marley. Thank you. That was fantastic. That's all we wanted. I'm glad he didn't even try and pet her. Marley, good girl. Now I'm going to give her some treats. Getting so many compliments. Mama, good girl, honey. Good job. So that was fantastic. Nice, calm greeting. She sniffed. She didn't growl or bark or anything like that. She just backed up when she felt like, okay, that's enough. Luckily, that gentleman was great about not trying to pet her, not going over her head. Going over a dog's head is such a big no-no that really most people don't realize. When you try and go over their head, they get Good girl, honey. Good girl. When you go over their head, it's a dominance move, where it's a power play where you're going above their eye line. So I usually try and recommend to people start off by petting, letting her sniff, and then if she allows it, I will scratch their chin and then go around to their ears and then go to the top of their head. That way it is not a power play and she's not thinking that I'm going to like try and grab her or something like that. I'm tricking her. She's got some insecurities where she's just unsure of what's going to happen to her. Marley, sit. Good girl. That's my lady. She's such a good girl. You can see I was so focused on watching her body language. Even when you asked how old she was, I couldn't even think in the moment because I'm so focused on watching my dog's body language and making sure that they feel comfortable. I don't want to force her into a position where she feels insecure or unhappy. It needs to be positive interactions with things so that she realizes it's not a bad thing. If we force her to interact with something that she's not comfortable with, you're not going to see any positive results come from that. You could inevitably grow her fear even more because she's always forced to do something she's not comfortable with. So she's doing really well. The more we practice this, the better she's going to do with this. This garbage cans and stuff. So what we're going to do is we are going to slowly start rolling our way into the store. I'm going to stop filming just for right now, just because I need to really focus on this part and make sure that I'm watching my moves as a handler. So hopefully this helps. If I can get some more footage of her in the store, I certainly will add that at the end. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will see you guys probably in just a few days to bring Miss Marley home. So hope you guys have a good one. Okay, so one thing I wanted to add to this video is transitional. Forgot I had done some work with her using the transitional. Let me show you. Okay, so Marley, sit. Marley, sit. Marley, good girl. Okay, so the transitional is when we take the slip lead and we do a figure 8 with it and put it around their muzzle. So this allows us to add pressure to the pressure points, not only in their skull, and as you saw with her, it slides down a lot and you have to do a lot of adjusting, and with her hair, it becomes a little knotted in there and everything. So using the transitional allows you to apply the pressure to the pressure points in her muzzle as well as the ones in her skull, and it really drives it home a lot faster, and you need to do a lot less correcting because she starts to feel it a lot easier than what she's so used to pulling through pressure on a leash that little forces of pressure aren't quite as successful now to her because she's just so used to pulling through pressure. So the release is the important part with pressure and release, like I said. So with this, it really allows me to kind of get her attention a lot faster. So we're in the store now, so this allows me to do pops a lot easier. Now there's certainly some conditioning in this. They do try and paw at it in the beginning and get it off of their face, obviously. But once they start to realize the only reason pressure turns on their face is because, see, she's pawing at it, is because she applies pressure. So you really have to be good about your release with this. If you have any sort of tension, you are relaying a message to her that's not fair. Okay, so like right there, if I pull her around that turn, that's teaching her that pressure means stop, but pressure also means go, right? And that's not fair. So you have to learn how to release your tension. So see how she just bucked her head and pushed it against my legs? And that's because I just did all that and I applied tension to her. And that's not fair, right? So we want to make sure that you learn how to keep this loose, right? And there's also still some adjusting. So you want to make sure that it stays centered. This silver loop stays centered in the middle of her head. It'll start to fall down, around her head at times. We don't want that. And that's because when you apply your pressure, you want it to be centered right there. You don't want the pressure to be applying from like behind her ear. So the better she gets with all of this, the less adjusting there will be. But you're going to notice such a huge difference when it's positioned properly as compared to when it's just a rope around her neck, basically, right? So this is great. She's doing better with not pawing at it now. We did this for maybe, I don't know, maybe less than 5 minutes. And all sorts of big noises going on. Mhm. Good girl. Alright, so it's just a little bit ahead. She's a Labradoodle.
Labradoodle.
Hey, Jordan. Show you my
That's the
baby.
dog lady right there.
I get her cut.
Aw, yeah, we just brushed her out. She needs to get a haircut. We're trading her right now, but we got
How
a
old is
nice
she?
brush out. You know, I am blanking on her age at the moment. I'm her trainer, and I'm just
okay.
blanking on her
Are you
age.
over here, PetSmart?
No, I own
Okay.
my own company. I'm accredited
Hey,
canine
Jordan.
training.
You, it's this type of calls.
It's a transitional. It's just her leash so that we can work on pulling.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, mine.
Not a
wants
muzzle or
to-
anything.
Mine wants
She
to
can.
jump on something.
That was a fantastic interaction. I stopped that just because we had gotten into a little bit of a conversation. We didn't need to record the whole thing. But Marley was so good. She let her pet her, and she wasn't even nervous. She's going up to people and approaching them on her own. That is all fantastic signs. I love that she is calming down. She's a lot more social. She's realized that nobody wants to hurt her or anything like that. The more interaction she has with people like this, where it's really just kind of on her terms, when she feels confident and ready, the better she's going to look. So, but yeah, she was even asking me about the transitional. She has a doodle herself. So she was asking, how the transitional works. I was demonstrating how we do that pressure and release with her. But yeah, so all in all, I think Marley's doing a great job. We're going to continue to keep going out into public a few more times, really working on this transitional. I think this is going to be a big help for you guys as far as her pulling goes. As you can see, I have a nice loose leash. All I have to do is a few of those little pops here and there, just to kind of remind her. But see how she's just a little bit ahead of me? I'd like her to be about right there. So yeah, but all in all, I'm very proud of her. So, like I said before, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we will see you guys before too long. Say bye, Marley.